Now that the dust has settled and I've actually gotten a chance to play Thor in ranked, I'd like to give my early thoughts on Thor in season 2.5. The other day I got to chill with y'all and I ended up giving myself 15 games to really get a hold of the changes before I put out another video giving my thoughts on Thor. If you haven't already, pull up to the Twitch to see every single one of my ranked matches live or to just chill with our community in chat. The objective of the stream was simple. It was to get 2 of my accounts from GM1 to Celestial 3, but I also wanted to give the Thor changes a very honest chance. That was really important to the challenge because over the past week, I've been getting hundreds of comments of people saying that I have no idea what I'm talking about when it comes to Thor. So I didn't want that negativity bias to affect how I actually feel about the changes. It would be easy for me to just write off the changes out of spite, but then I would be no better than the dick eaters in my comments. Out of these 15 games, I won 11, lost 3, and drew 1 time. I averaged about a 3.7 KDA, and I hit Celestial on both accounts, all solo. All of my accounts are set to public and I post almost every VOD from my rank sessions on Twitch, so again, go check that out if you're interested in learning or to just nitpick the gameplay, whichever one suits you best. With that being said, my thoughts on the changes still stand. I think it's complete and utter nonsense that NetEase would even think up some rubbish like this, and it really makes me question the motivation behind the change. Something that a lot of people don't understand is that not only could you already reliably awaken and spam before, but if you really wanted Thor to be in a better position, all NetEase had to do was reduce the cooldown of Lightning Realm. If they did reduce the cooldown, Thor no longer loses all of the options that he had with old Hammer Throw, and you would be able to spam Awakening Rune on top of that. He would get so much better by having both options available to him at all times, and the mixed feelings about the changes would have never been an issue. The amount of comments that I got from people saying that they never even used Hammer Throw is really insane, and it goes to show that people just aren't very thoughtful at all when it comes to hero expression in this game. People felt like Hammer Throw was useless because it didn't have its several use cases spelled out for them, and if it took any processing power in their brains at all, then they thought it was just useless. With the introduction of the new Hammer Throw, the use case for the Hammer Throw is not only infinitely more simple, but you only really find yourself thinking about it when you want that Thor Force back. If you find Hammer Throw more simple and you like it better, I'm glad you're enjoying it, but it hasn't really grown on me just yet. I do think that it will be better for people that want to pick up Thor in the future, but it really does kill that aspect of fun and usefulness that old Hammer Throw had for a lot of Thor players, and myself. One thing that really surprised me on the run is that the new Hammer Throw didn't really feel all that bad, or at least not as bad as I thought it would, and most of that was due to the playstyle that Thor is now pigeonholed into. Thor now has to play really slow and clunky in the front line, spamming Awakening. No longer can you use that back to front playstyle, making space by forcing people to either peel their supports or lose them. Sure, the Hammer Throw is great for Thor plays now, but as a consequence of that, it's no longer the brawl tool that it used to be. The most presence that Thor has on the front line is that of a traffic cone with a weak ass taser attached to it or some shit. In higher elo lobbies where people actually want to win and have experience, organized team comps, everyone's talking to each other, and you're just sitting there spamming Awakening perma, you're getting fried beyond belief. By no means is Thor literally unplayable, but this is the most unfun experience that I've had on Thor because he has to play in such a way that just doesn't work on so many levels. But yeah, Thor is really still great for displacing tanks, and that seems to be his best and only effective playstyle at the moment, sadly. Another thing that I want to point out is that throughout every season that this game has been alive, Thor has had a 51 to 52% win rate. Now that these supposed buffs have dropped for Thor, Thor now has a negative win rate for the first time in the game's life. You must be thinking that the data is somehow wrong or I'm doing something to misconstrue this, but you can go look for yourself. The information is out there. I'm sure somebody will link it in the comments. I know I'll get some comments on how Thor's pick rate may be causing his win rate to decline, but that wouldn't be correct either. Not only has Thor's pick rate been declining every single season, but the win rates have never dropped down like this, meaning that there isn't a large influx of new Thor players learning him skewing the data. Now, I'm curious as to why you think this is happening, because people are saying that Thor's gotten a massive buff or that they don't really feel a difference in the gameplay at all. So why is the win rate so much lower than normal? Why is Thor's win rate now negative for the first time ever? What's going on with this? Another thing that I want to address is the people saying that the change is good and that I should just adapt. I should just stop making videos that hundreds if not thousands of people ask me to make and just adapt to the changes. Now stay with me. Now if Thor's win rate is the lowest that it's ever been and I just solo queued to Celestial twice going 11-3, at what point are we going to stop rage baiting and realize that the adaptation was never the issue? I'm seriously going to start taking these comments as rage bait, but I literally stream every game, read every chat, and I'm barely ever locked into the game, and I'm still playing well with these dog shit changes. How am I able to do this in top 1 to 2% lobbies when Thor's win rate is the lowest that it's ever been? Am I really just the terrible player that can't adapt and I'm just making shock value content for knowing that the old hammer throw wasn't a bad ability? Or are we just chatting? I feel like I'm dragging this too long, but there's literally so much I want to cover. But another thing I want to mention is that from what I've read, a lot of people can't even tell when I animation cancel. I've seen so many comments across every Thor player's videos of players saying stuff like, oh yeah, you only used hammer throw X amount of times in this video. And to me, those comments are just crazy self-reports. They literally can't even perceive that we're animation canceling the hammer throw, and these niggas are just calling us ass at the game for not wanting it changed. If you can't even tell when somebody's using the animation throw, because I don't know, I think you're just like, your vision's not fat, you just don't like conceptually understand what's going on, then we're not the issue here. That's something brief I wanted to mention before this last part, but yeah. Everybody point and laugh real quick. Point and laugh at these fuck niggas. But yeah, with this whole flat situation as well, all the flats dick eaters in my comments, get the glick out your throat and stand up, please. I made a video explaining why thousands of Thor players online were upset for those who didn't understand the situation at all. Nothing about that was me taking anything he said personally, and I personally don't even know him. It's quite literally impossible for me to take it that way. I know it's hard to believe that people wanted that video because I don't have hundreds of thousands of subs, but trust me, people asked me to explain the situation repeatedly, and that's exactly what I did. I had people literally come back to my comments saying that Flats was live on stream proving me wrong and bragging and shit. So I pulled up the stream and he was going 4-8 on the new Thor, and from my knowledge he never even touched the hero again. I know it's hard for you to accept that someone you look up to and have a parasocial relationship with said some dumb shit, but I promise you will live. Lastly, to my viewers, stop calling Flats fat, bro. Please. That online weird like name calling shit is lame as hell. I've been growing a lot on Twitch and YouTube lately, but I don't want people that think like that and act like that interacting with my community. But trust, all my niggas that pull up to the Twitch, y'all know I get toxic, bro. I get toxic too. The VODs are up. But there are lines that just don't make sense to cross. But yeah, early thoughts on the new Thor. He's not unplayable by any means. And if you have more fun with him now, then shout out to you, man. I personally find the new playstyle pretty dog shit and unengaging, but yeah, I need more time to really find anything substantial to share. It feels like I'm looking for something that's just not there right now, and it's a pretty bad feeling, I'm not gonna lie. I will be doing the unranked GM Ultron run very soon, and I will be live when this video goes up for those of you who want to stop by and talk more about this shit. But yeah, with that being said, as always, be kind to yourself, and I will catch you in the next one. Man, what are we, 7-1? No MVPs though. Goddamn. Crazy heals. I don't know why my Punisher was getting farmed. That Thor buff doing you well? Hey man, let's see it. I don't think so. We got 24 off of that. That's crazy. I'm getting blessed. Goddamn. Let's update.